Hi, in this video I will show you how to put together the free Flowers for Mom card from Simply Crafty SVGs. So I always jump right in, and the first thing I want to do is piece together the different pieces and parts. And I'm just curling the flower petals. I've already done the 3 flowers. There's also a couple other flowers for the tag, but I don't curl those. So these are the flowers for the little pop-up, which is the largest one, and sorry, got out of focus here, and the ones in the pot on the card. What I used on the top of the middle of those cards is stickles to make it shine. It's a little glitter glue if you've never used it. And I like to ink the edges of a lot of my components, anything that I piece, so it gives it more definition. So I'm inking that with a dark brown chalk ink. Then I did emboss the pot with a Cuttlebug embossing folder. And we'll just add the lip of the pot. So we're getting that all ready to go once we put the card together. And then for this, I'm just going to add that little piece on top, and that's just for dimension. So I inked the edges of that one too, and it just gives a little bit more dimension. I could have just used that back piece, but I prefer to have just a little bit. Visually it does change the look of the card. Now we're going to move those aside. And this is a form of a wiper card. So there's the little wiper piece where a flower is going to be attached. And we have the panels. First we went to fold the card pieces, so the skinny one's the front of the card. So I'm just folding it on the scores. And I know I'm out of sight for now, but here we go. Just fold it backwards like it naturally will go with the score. And then I'm going to fold it towards myself on that first one. So we want a valley fold on the first one and a mountain fold on the second one. Mountains up, valley down. So that's how we want that front piece to be folded. And the back piece will be folded opposite. Because if you've ever done a wiper card, that's kind of how it is. I just have a strange shape to mine. So I'm going to fold like that. I always fold mountain folds first, regardless of which way it goes, just to help fold it the other way. For this one, the middle folds in like that, and then it folds the other way. So you can see how it folds. That's how it should be folded, the back piece. And then you'll see the front piece. That's how it's going to connect. And this is, like I said, if it's a wiper card, if you've seen square ones, it just is the mechanism to kind of pull it, and then it'll pop up the component. That's how it's going to open. So before that, we want to add some of the panels. It's important that you don't add, the only panel you don't want to add is the one on the far right, and that'll go on the front. So you can add these 2 half circular ones on the back. So don't do anything to the right. The one on the right, we're going to keep that. The piece you'll see it has a half circle with a connected kind of rectangular. That's the one you don't want to attach. So we just center those in the areas. So we don't want it right up to the fold. We want it a little area around each section. And that's the back. So we'll add the panels to the front. So those just center. And they only go one way. They're longer than they are. They're wider than they are taller. And on the finished card, I did put like a little rhinestone in the middle of the flowers on these pieces. Then it'll sit like that. So we still don't want to add that last panel yet until we put these two cards together. But before we do that, let's add that little wiper mechanism. So when you have this, you want to fold it back just like you see it. And the flower's going to go right up there. So we're just going to add a dab of glue and add that. It's the largest flower. And you could add anything there, but that's what I have for this design. We're going to see where the front of the card is, and we're flipping it over so we know where to place it. So on the first score line to the left, we're going to align the side of this. So you see how it's folded? We're going to align the side so the corner where the fold is below that lip of the top of the front of the card, and it's slightly to the left of the fold, the score in that section. It needs to be to the left of that right there, that score, and it'll fold back like that. So I'm just trying to fold it to show you. So how it attaches, it'll go like that. So I'm going to leave it flat. I'm going to glue this top piece to the bottom piece. So I'm taking the first panel to the left, adding glue to the back of it, and then aligning it to the same shape on the back of the card. So you want to make sure that that edge matches up on the top, the bottom, and the left. You want to align it before you apply pressure, and then go ahead and add some pressure and make sure it's good and secure before you do the next step, which right there, we're just going to glue it like that. It all comes together pretty quickly. So we go ahead, and you could always add glue on the right side too, but you have to be careful you don't add glue too far over. And we're going to apply pressure and match up that edge to the fold there. So it's kind of an odd shaped card, which was my intention, something different. Sometimes my freebies are a combination of trying to figure out something new to learn, but sometimes I just kind of go with it and want you to see a different card of any shape. So I'm just applying a lot of pressure to that. Get some glue off here. So you can see how it opens. So when you close it, you just push that flower back down. Do it one more time so at right angle, and that's how it pops up. So now that we've glued those together, we can put that top panel. So if you put it on too soon, obviously we couldn't glue that. You would see the top part would have covered. The top part of the card would have covered the panel. And that hides the seam, makes it cleaner. And so we'll take that pot, and we're going to, you want to situate it kind of center in the section of that little half circle. And I would say make the bottom of the pot, after you glue this, which you would just want to glue this little piece a little behind, just right behind there. Right in the middle. And then when you situate the pot on the card, you want to have it just a little bit below the bottom edge of the panel. So we're going to add a little bit of foam tape here to pop it up. So I'm just centering it and just have it just right slightly below the bottom portion of that little panel. Then we can go ahead and add the flowers. So I'm going to add the biggest one in the middle of the three, and then the two small ones on the right and left. And I'm just lining it up to where the stem is. You can go above or below. It's up to you. It's just your preference. Then I just kind of slide. So I'm just sliding it down there. So no matter what, if it goes above, then just make sure it's flat, or go below. Just make sure the petals aren't like really sticking outward. Once you flatten it, that will help. Just make sure you don't scrunch them or anything. And then we'll add the little mom cutout, or you could make this a birthday card, and you could add any sentiment, obviously, to this portion. At this point, if you just want a flower card, you could omit the Mother's Day components. And we're going to add this little Happy Mother's Day. So I have a little pick there to click out. This is really small cuts, so if you have little hanging paper, you want to kind of pluck it out there. So it's going to go like that, and then going to go over that. So this whole show the blue in the background. So just sandwich that white piece in, but you do have to line it up. So when you line it up, you want to line it up to make sure that it's where the O and the R and where the openings of the letters need to be. So I just add a thin layer of glue around the edge of the back of that cutout panel. You want to do this first, do the top first, because I didn't make it the same shape. I didn't want white sticking out, so I didn't make that middle piece the same. It's not necessary. You just need to line this up with the white piece. So make sure it's situated right. And then you're just going to carefully line it up. I just want to make sure the camera showed you. And then don't press down yet, so you can adjust. So if you have to slightly move it, like my O was a little bit off, I just was able to rotate it a little bit. So I'm just making sure it's good and secure before I go ahead, and I just want to line up that back panel, because that back panel is visible when you have the card closed. So we wanted a solid backing to it. You just want to glue around those holes and around the edges to glue that and line up that back panel. So you will see this slightly on the back when you put it on. So there's that, and then we'll add you just add the two flowers, attach them in the flower middles. And once you have it all together, the flowers assembled, you can go ahead and place it on the card. So just know that you don't want the top of the flower to go any higher than the top of the card, so it fits an envelope, an A2 envelope. And when you do close it, the back of that card will show. So here's a version where I didn't have a solid background, but that's okay. I since have added that. So if you never tried a wiper card, here's your chance. Thanks for watching.